So today we got a question from Dan, who's a 3-stripe blue belt, and he sent me a message asking about how to be more consistent with his energy levels. He says that when he goes into the gym to do jiu-jitsu, sometimes he's on, man. He feels good. He's got good pressure on his training partners. He's pushing them. Technically, he feels sharp. He feels good. But then other times, it's the exact opposite. He just kind of lacks that energy, feels kind of lethargic, and he just doesn't have a good oomph to his training. Also, it's the same way in the weight room. Sometimes in the weight room, he feels good. He's attacking the weights. He's getting after the workout. And then other times, just kind of goes through the motions. His strength is down, and he just doesn't feel like he's got it. And so he sent me a message asking if I have any tips on how to be a little bit more consistent with energy. He says he's tried different diets. He says he's done the keto diet before, but he said when he did the keto diet, it was helpful for losing weight, but not really helpful for explosive energy. And so again, he sends the message to me to see if I have any tips for him. So brother, thank you for the question. And since you were talking about diet and sort of the keto diet, I'm going to focus most of this video on diet because I think it's one of the areas that jiu-jitsu practitioners it's something that doesn't get any priority. For instance, a jiu-jitsu practitioner, a lot of them, just from my experience as a coach and what I see a lot of, they will put all the priority, right here, up on technical training, jiu-jitsu training, rolling, going to seminars, buying course, all of this stuff, right? Then the smart ones will maybe do some strength training, right? They'll get a little lift in here and there. And then some people put some focus on their diet. And when I'm talking about focus, I'm not talking about you listen to a Joe Rogan episode and you like halfway did it, right? Or I'm not talking about you're just eating clean. I'm talking about like really dialing in your diet to see how it affects you. Because, you know, when you think about yourself when you're training, if you're lifting weights and you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're doing all this stuff, you're treating yourself like a performance athlete to some degree. And so it's interesting to know, well, how is this food affecting me? If you think about your body, it's a biological machine. The food you put into it is the fuel that you're going to fuel these workouts with, right? And not only is it the fuel, but it's also the sort of the spare parts that you repair yourself with, because your body then, once it's broken down from the training and the lifting and everything else you're doing, it then takes the nutrients from the food and says, okay, here's what I've got to work with to repair this machine. Give it good fuel, it's going to be able to repair it better. Give it bad fuel, you understand. And so I think it's important. And again, where I'm getting with this is that a lot of times people just don't put focus on their diet and jiu-jitsu, and they should. Now, with me recently, I've been really focused on my diet because when we came back from the first lockdown after COVID, I say the first lockdown because it looks like they're probably going to try to do it again. When I came back from the first lockdown, I'd gained a few lbs around my belly, and I wanted to lose some weight, and so I wanted to get lean. It was just a challenge for me, right? I looked around, and everybody else is just growing and getting bigger, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to get slimmer. And so I started to lean out. I'm down about 14 pounds at the time of filming this. I'm down to 198. And the weight has come down very gradually and slowly, but it's come down really well. And it's come down in the right way where I'm not making myself weak or lethargic. And honestly, to be completely honest with you, bro, I've got more energy right now than I've had in a while. I've been working out. I haven't had an off day for 3 straight weeks. And it's not because I couldn't take one. It's because I don't want to. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, all right, let's get after it. I feel good right now. And along with it, one of the other side benefits of it, what's been really nice, is my joints don't hurt. Like usually my joints when I'm training hard, like jiu-jitsu wise, and I'm lifting a lot, like I'm lifting 5 days a week right now, usually I feel some aches and pains, but right now I'm having none of it. I'm friggin' loving it. And so again, what happened was I wanted to lose the weight, so I started dieting, and then I hired a coach to help me out, just because, again, for me personally, this is just for me sharing, anytime I want to really get into something, I hire people to help me out because it makes the process so much faster. And so just like you guys do with jiu-jitsu, you hire someone to help you, right? I'm just hiring someone who knows a little bit more about this stuff to help me out so I can learn from them. And so we went on a diet where everything is one ingredient foods, and I'm eating the same meal. So it's like, my carbs are white rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cream of rice. There's some oats in there sometimes. Meat is, chicken, turkey, lean beef, steak, things of that nature. There's some protein powder in there, so that's one of the exceptions to the one ingredient foods. And then leafy greens, and then I've got some avocado and some eggs and stuff like that for fat. And so it's a high protein, high carb, low to moderate fat diet. And I feel great. I'm eating 6 meals a day, and every meal is measured, and it's all the same. And so we started off the first couple of weeks on that diet, we were doing the same stuff over and over again. Started to feel pretty good. And then we started, and I say he started to change my diet, started to tweak little bits of stuff. Take out a little bit of the rice here, add a little bit of this there. How are you feeling after these workouts? Feeling a little tired here? Add a little bit of this. How's the weight coming? Add this supplement. It'll help you shed a little bit more fat off the, whatever, that kind of stuff. So basically treating me like a science experiment where we keep everything the same and then we start to change one variable at a time. And what's useful about that is now I kind of get to know, well, what's helping me out? It's just like in jiu-jitsu where if I start drilling a particular technique and I keep drilling it over and over and over and over again, and then when I roll, and I start to hit the technique, I know that the drill's working, right? Because it becomes smoother. And likewise, if my diet remains the same, then I know what's making the difference. If I start to change something and all of a sudden I don't feel so hot, well, I know it's what I just changed. Whereas, let's say if I feel a little lethargic and I add a little something, then I feel better. Like for instance, one of the workout meals that he gave me, like post-workout, I freaking love it. I feel great afterwards. I can have a really hard lift and workout. I can eat this post-workout meal. It gets nutrients into my body super quick, and I feel good in about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get a good jiu-jitsu session in. And so again, I can feel that because everything is staying the same. And so what I would sort of tell you to do, brother, first off, I don't want to tell you what to eat. Although I don't think keto is the best diet for people that are lifting weights, doing jiu-jitsu, and doing all this staying very active. I don't think it's the best diet for that. But what I would say to you is start by making your diet consistent, right? Because you have no read on what's making a difference. If you're eating 1 meal a day this time, now you're eating 3 meals a day, and then now you ate McDonald's and cheeseburgers on this day. You don't know where your body's all over the place. Start by making your diet fairly consistent, right? Again, I eat the same meals right now for 7 days a week, minus my one sushi meal on Saturday. Everything else is exactly the same. Make your diet regimented and make it consistent. This way you can kind of read on what is making a difference with your diet and what's making you feel good, what's making you feel bad. The one thing I would encourage you as far as what to eat is try to cut out as much junk as possible just to see how you feel. And then from there, you can kind of see how's all this stuff working. And you may hire a coach if you need to, if you have the money to do it. If not, just do your own research and figure out what kind of foods you want to try to eat and then keep it consistent. Keep it as consistent as possible and see what kind of difference that makes. Again, I think it's a really useful thing to do. It's a useful exercise. It's a little challenging though, because when you're rolling, it's different. When you're rolling, it's easy because when you're in the middle of a situation where someone's trying to choke you, there's not a lot of discipline needed to tuck your chin. You're fighting. You got to go. But there's a lot of discipline needed to sit down at your dinner plate. And when you're getting ready to eat some greens and some rice and some chicken, and there's ice cream in the fridge, right? And you're kind of wanting ice cream, that's where the discipline is. That's a different type of discipline. And so, again, it's why I think sometimes people in jiu-jitsu don't do it, because jiu-jitsu is kind of fun. It's easy it's like the easiest cardio in the world to do. But then when you get out of the gym, it's a little bit more difficult. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble at this point. But getting back to it, for consistent energy, I would definitely look at your diet. Try to make it as consistent as possible so you see what's making the difference and go from there. So Dan, hopefully this is useful to you, brother. And I'll talk to you guys next time.